Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for today's video. I have one for those among you who are mature, classy, and refined, and you want your fragrances to be that way too. I picked some of the best 10 fabulous, full bodied, rich, opulent, unique fragrances that will set you apart from the crowd and have a lot of body to take you through the late fall into the winter. Some of these can be worn in warmer weather for sure. But these are just stunning fragrances that will have you noticed. If you want your fragrances to have just as much personality as you do, this is the video for you. Let me start off with lipstick of the day as I've been doing recently. I love the novel packaging on this. This is from NARS. Look how cute this is. I don't know if it's limited edition or not. I will link it below. It's part of their Explicit lipstick collection. It's in the color Only Yours 810. Looks like that. Nice for fall, sort of a rich brown, maybe nearly cinnamony color. And I paired it with the Hourglass Shape and Sculpt lip liner in the color Uncover 4, which looks like that. And for those of you that are super into makeup, let me just take another quick second to share that I'm wearing the new Natasha Denona HyGlam foundation. The color I'm in is in NP10. I love this. This reminds me very much of the House Labs foundation in that it has a very sort of dewy, skin-like appearance. I've been rocking this for about 3 or 4 days now and can't get enough of it. So big thumbs up. I will link the makeup products down in the description box along with the fragrances today and any discount codes that I might have available for you. I'll kick off with a fragrance that I wore this week and just love it. Every time I put it on, I am reminded how unique and classy this fragrance is. It is very special, and I have never smelled anything else like it. Well, maybe adjacent, but not quite like it, right? This is Lalique Le Parfum, and I will also say that this is an affordable option among today's fragrances. So you can get this on the gray market for, I don't know, under $75. Sometimes I've seen it as low as $30 or $40. So I'll try to figure out where you can find it on sale. Oh my gosh. This is also like a mom's hug in a bottle, which is another video that I'm filming today. Super sophisticated vanilla and very slight patchouli base, which is just a beautiful combination. The unique thing about this fragrance is it has an aromatic aspect to it that I have not seen in any other fragrance, and it's a bay leaf. Which is interesting because when I tend to think of bay leaves, I think of stews and soups that are hearty, like a beef stew or something like that, where you might drop a bay leaf in. This is almost like a cozy aromatic fragrance. There's powderiness, vanilla, a little bit of patchouli in the base. And there's also a tonka bean aspect. This is so warm and cozy and inviting, yet mature and classy. Like this is the lady that has her entire life together and she helps other people get their lives together too. You know, the elder statesman in the room or stateswoman in the room. It's like, come here, honey. Let me share with you some wisdom of life. That is this in a fragrance. Absolutely beautiful. The only complaint, if I have one about this fragrance, is that it isn't the most long lasting. I may get about 6-ish hours at the most out of this. And it does get softer at the end of the wear. And then it just sort of disappears in the late afternoon. And you have to reapply. But when I tell you that it is worth it to reapply because it is such a fabulous, unique, comforting, elevated type of scent. In fact, I'm looking at my selections today and it's among the best that I have to offer for you. Beautiful. Those of you that have tried this know what I'm talking about. Do drop your comments down below and let everybody else know. Put them on to Lalique Le Parfum. You need this in your collection if you're a vanilla lover, if you want a unique vanilla, if you don't mind a little bit of an aromatic touch in your vanilla, because I think that is what sets this fragrance apart and makes it absolutely like intoxicating in the most comforting mom hug in a bottle way. Maybe I will put this in that other video. Perhaps you'll see it again in that video. So beautiful. This one is like deliciously luxurious. If you've tried it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is Via CAVOUR I by Xerjoff. Oh my goodness. I do have another fragrance that has a little chocolate in it. This one has a chocolate note as well. The notes here are quince and white peach at the top. And in the heart, there's dark chocolate. I don't know that I would call it out as a dark chocolate, but it's definitely sort of deep, like a rich chocolate scent. Rose, and then the base has caramel and vanilla. I feel like there's more in the base, like perhaps a little hint of patchouli, perhaps some woodiness. This is a very luxe, nearly gourmand scent because of the chocolate. It stays on the perfumey side, which I love. It doesn't go into like, I smell like a dessert territory, but there is something like luxuriously delicious about the scent at the same time. It's a very hearty scent with a lot of body to it, warm and sensual. The fruity touches in the fragrance, I feel like just lend a little bit of sweet intrigue, sweet mystery to it rather than smelling like a fruity fragrance. You know, fruity fragrances come in lots of different forms. Some of them can be very playful and youthful. Others can be incredibly mature, like if it has a deep, dark plum note. I feel like the fruits that are in this fragrance just lend some feminine aspect to this, some sweetness, and blends so beautifully with that dark chocolate note. It is fabulous. I don't particularly pick up anything in the caramel direction for myself, but the fragrance does have a certain amount of body and depth to it that is just really alluring. This is a very sexy fragrance. Could you wear this to work? Sure. I would just say spray super lightly, and you'd have to be in a work environment where people didn't mind scent. However, I also think of this as a beautiful date night fragrance, special occasion. I also think of this as one of those fragrances that you would wear to a family occasion, especially if you're like a matriarch of the family or one of the sort of dominant female figures. Could this smell lovely on a gentleman? I think so too. I think this would smell super alluring and sexy on men as well. So if you're the Don Dada of your your family, if you're the godfather, the patriarch of the family, the uncle who sets the stage when he walks into the room, you might be interested in Via CAVOUR I. Fabulous fragrance. Oof. This next one is from a house that I am enamored with because I have enjoyed just about all of their offerings and probably have maybe 6 or 7 bottles from them at this point. Plume Impression, and this is Murmure Det. If you are a sandalwood lover, if you enjoy fig, this is a must try in a sea of sandalwood fragrances. I have another sandalwood fragrance in this lineup that is to die for, like blind buy worthy if you are a sandalwood lover. This one is a little bit more unique, interesting, different, and so I would say sample this first. This is available on So Avant-Garde, but the full size is sold out at the moment. They do have 2 milliliter samples and they have a 15 mil like travel spray. So maybe try that out. The 15 mil is $50. I would pay $100 for the 50 mil because this is one of the most sophisticated fragrances. The sillage from this perfume is to die for. It has heads turning in my house of very picky people. So the notes here at the top, well, let me just tell you like what stands out to me. This very sort of dry, classy sandalwood scent. Primarily, like that is the base of the fragrance, the surround of it, and the star of the show. It has a note of fig wood. I don't know what fig wood is supposed to smell like, especially in comparison to just regular old fig fruit. We have fig bushes out in our yard, and every summer we pick the figs off of them. I feel like it's more of a sort of green, youthful smelling fig note rather than fig that has matured and that has that sort of deeper fruity scent slash taste to it. There's freesia in the fragrance, cedarwood. This is clean, it's crisp, it's sort of like linear and structured. It reminds me of pressed clothing that is tailored to your body, like a suit or a beautiful, classy, maybe mid-century dress that has a lot of structure and shows off the female form, but keeps it classy and covered as well. I could also see a gentleman in a highly tailored, beautiful suit with the finest fabrics, you know, fancy leather shoes on with leather bottoms too, not the fake bottom shoes that we get nowadays with fast fashion footwear. This is so beautiful. I would say it's woody, it's dry, it's linear. It just has this sort of like mystical sillage in the air that makes people turn their heads. It's got beautiful longevity. It's nicely projecting. You have to be a sandalwood lover to love this. I feel like that is the primary feature of this fragrance. And it's this incredibly androgynous scent. It's neither feminine nor masculine. I think ladies and gentlemen can pull this off alike and just totally command a room. Super beautiful, woody. The cedar wood also, I think, is fairly pronounced. And cedar wood to me tends to be this sort of crisp, structured, very clean smelling, nearly pencil shaving, but a little bit deeper, perhaps a little darker, a little bit more structured wood note. Absolutely fabulous. I can't say enough good things about it. I can see why it's sold out and stays sold out on So Avant Garde. Maybe one of the most spectacular, super special occasion, highly mature fragrances among the bunch. So, if you're someone who tends to think that fragrances smell either old fashioned or you put age on fragrances and tend to say, oh, this is for someone older than me, this one is not going to be for you. For those of you that can take a really punchy fragrance with a lot of body to it, one of my highest recommendations from today's bunch is HALE BOPP from Tiziana Terenzi, one that I absolutely fell in love with on the second try. When I first tried it, I thought, whoa, I think that's a little too much for me. This is one that you have to try on skin and let it settle down and see if it agrees with you. This is one that reminded me slightly of Shalimar by Guerlain. I'm talking about the original Shalimar with the heavy animalic notes. I feel like this is sort of Shalimar-esque without the animalic touches to it. It's a lighter, easier, well, excuse me, it's not lighter. It's an easier wear version of Shalimar without the powderiness either, and the addition of a lemon note, which I think is so fabulous. I know that sounds wild. Like, how in the world? What does that smell like? This is luxury in a bottle. One of the most sophisticated scents I have ever smelled. Incredibly long lasting, super projecting. A couple of sprays, 3 sprays at the most, will take you through an entire day. Some of the notes here at the top: nutmeg, cinnamon, lemon. You do get sort of this sort of like a fall spice with a lemon touch. The lemon isn't pronounced, it just adds this brightness that I think is unique to this fragrance and happy. It gives you a happy, inviting feeling. Other notes here: patchouli and vanilla for sure. You pick up all of that. Sandalwood, musk, ambergris in the base, I think, are pronounced as well. This does have a little bit of like dense powderiness to it, but not quite as powdery as the original Shalimar is. I mean, if you told me this was an inspired, updated, modernized version of Shalimar, I would believe you that that was the intention of this scent. But I just love that combination of slight spiciness, slight zingy brightness from the lemon with that amazing vanilla, musky, sandalwoody, slightly patchouli dry down. Absolutely intoxicating powerhouse of a fragrance. A must try if any of that I described sounds good to you. And these bottles are beautiful too. They are hand blown from what I understand, and the cap and the plaque are coated in gold. Ugh, adore, adore. Speaking of aromatic vanillas, maybe I should have put this right after Lalique Le Parfum because this could be a cousin to this one, to Lalique Le Parfum. It's the most subdued of the fragrances that I'm going to recommend today. It is very much on the refined and pulled back, edited, classy side of the fragrances on in this lineup, and that is Maison Francis Kurkdjian Gentle Fluidity Gold. I don't know what took me so long to get this fragrance, but when I finally did, I fell in I know what took me so long, but I fell in love with it. What took me so long is that I had a dupe of it from Alexandria Fragrances that I ran through. So if the price tag of this is scary to you or you can't find it on sale and you want something fairly similar, Alexandria Fragrances is one of the only dupe houses that I actually recommend to people. Juliana's Perfumes is another. There might be like 3 or 4 dupe houses that I'm all about. And so Alexandria is one of them, and they make a fantastic dupe. I forget what it's called, but I'll put it up here on the screen. But I highly recommend that one. And so I went on and got the real one. And that's what took me so long that I was hesitant to pay the price. And why was I hesitating? It's such a beautiful, for me, aromatic vanilla. The standout notes here are juniper berries and coriander. And I think the combination of those with the vanilla base is just one of the classiest, yet cleanest and coziest and highly like edited vanillas in at least my entire collection and that I've tried overall. It is such a perfect blend of the lightness and ethereal nature that aromatic notes can sometimes add to fragrances if they're done with a very light touch, combined with the vanilla, musky, woody base that make this hearty enough for fall and winter as well, although it's on the softer side. This is one of those like universally likable, appealing vanillas that everyone will enjoy smelling on you. And it also has this beautiful warmth to it without feeling suffocating. I think it's just such a lovely vanilla fragrance. Beautiful, classy, appropriate for any kind of occasion. You could wear this in summer too, although I would spray lightly. It's really an early to late fall sort of fragrance. Or if you're at home in winter, I've worn this to work for like a winter meeting when it was super cold outside and I wanted something warm but classy. Is just beautiful. Gentle Fluidity Gold. This next one could be the smell of like a winter ice queen in her palace. I think that image is conjured up by the way that the bottle looks. And this is from Mind Games. It is called Prodigy. Look how pretty this ombre bottle is. And so, you know, the crowned effect at the top makes me think, in the white bottle, makes me think of an ice queen. It does have some warmth to it. So it's not an icy fragrance, but I think of some like an elegant, long, white flowing gown and someone with a crown on. It's so interesting with this fragrance. When I first tried it, it was sent to me for review by So Avant Garde maybe like a year or so ago. I thought it was just okay. But when I tried this on and did like a full day wear, I understood the beauty of this fragrance. The fragrance smells like rose on a bed of like a cushy, creamy vanilla nuttiness. There aren't any nuts, any kind of nuts listed in the note structure, but I swear there's some like dark nut here. Maybe like a hazelnut, macadamia nut butter mixture as part of the base mixed with vanilla. There's also blonde woods in the fragrance. Blonde woods tend to smell more yellow, like the color of my shirt, than perhaps like oaky or like ebony or mahogany woods that are darker and richer and deeper. Blonde woods tend to smell on the lighter side of wood scents. This also has sandalwood, a touch of patchouli. The notes that are called out on the plaque, if you're not familiar with Mind Games fragrances, just to let you know, the placards on the front give you two notes to concentrate on as called out by the perfumer. And so here it's rose absolute and patchouli. I don't think the patchouli is super pronounced, but you do get patchouli, like a woody patchouli, those light woods, beautiful rose, this creamy like nuttiness to it, and a touch of spice. I think cardamom is the spice note that's in the fragrance. I just think this is beautiful, super decadent, not too heavy in the rose direction. For those of you that are not huge fans of rose fragrances, you might still be interested in this. And those of you that are huge fans of rose fragrances, you must get your nose on this. And absolutely don't do what I just did and just spray on the blotter. You have to wear it on your skin, let it warm up. It has such a sophisticated presence in the room. Although it's like creamy and I keep saying nutty and woody, like that yellow wood type of smell, it also has this lightness, this airiness, a little bit of fluffiness. I just think this is beautiful. So that's Prodigy. Definitely one to get your nose on and try on skin before you judge it fully. One of the most unique releases of last year, I'm filming this in the fall of 2025. I think it came out in late 2024. I don't remember. Maybe it came out at the top of 2025, but that is Hermes Barenia. I nearly passed on this, and I'm so glad that I didn't because it's one of the most interesting novel fragrances released, and it reminds me of everything that I loved about old school perfumery. I mean, by old school, I'm talking about late 60s, 70s, 80s, those fragrances, without having a vintage smell. Like, I feel like this is very modern and updated, but it's edgy and it has like a retro vibe. And what gives it that retro vibe is the combination of patchouli and woods to me. Those are the primary dancers in this fragrance. Such a beautiful scent. It also has a bright, sparkly bergamot note. I wonder if there's some champagne or something like that note in the fragrance that's not disclosed that's closed that gives it this sort of like effervescent touch. So anyway, patchouli, woods, a little bit of brightness from the bergamot, and then it has some berry notes in it as well to give it a little bit of feminine edge. Although I think this is one of those fragrances that can be worn by anybody. I do think it is on the mature side. I'm not sure that folks in the younger part of their life would really appreciate this fragrance or enjoy it the way that those of us that have been around and we're a little bit more seasoned, might. But listen, if you're someone in your 20s or even your early 30s in the audience and you like this one, please do drop it down in the comments. I'd love for everyone to try this out and I'd love for them to try it out on their skin. So there's berries in here somehow, some way, but to me, it comes across smelling a little bit plummy, like a dark, juicy plumminess alongside that brightness from the citrus. But the primary dominant players are a beautiful, lovely, perfumey patchouli and wood combination that I think is just intoxicating and super sophisticated. The brand says it expresses the personality of an instinctive and fascinating woman embodying freedom. Such a lovely scent. Powerful, strong, unique, perhaps will smell very unappealing for people that are not used to this kind of scent profile. So definitely try this first. There are travel sprays of this around as well, if I'm not mistaken. The next one is iconic. We all know, and most of us love her. Some of us don't like this line in general. And so you might not be surprised to see DELINA Exclusive in the lineup. This is, to me, the most beautiful among the three DELINA sisters. The original DELINA is more youthful and a little sharper with that lychee note in it. And then the DELINA La Rosée is a beautiful, watery, like nearly aquatic smelling, musky, fruity, rosy, beautiful floral spring scent. I think there's peony in that fragrance as well, if I remember. But this is the most feminine among the ones that I'm mentioning today, like the most definitively girly and feminine among the bunch. It's no surprise that it's in this beautiful pink bottle. The primary players here are, for me, a soft, creamy vanilla, beautiful, soft, delicate rose, fruitiness from a little bit of lychee and pear. The fragrance also has like a a dense powderiness to it. Dense powderiness, soft rose, delicate fruitiness. The fruitiness is more just like a sweet wraparound than distinctly fruity, in my opinion. And then this creamy, opulent, decadent vanilla base to it. Some people pick up a pronounced incense note. I can't say that for me there's a pronounced incense. If anything, it's maybe like a whisper in the far background. And only after I know to remember, oh yeah, it has a little incense in it. Just very feminine, beautiful fragrance. And by the way, another one that is super long lasting, projecting, will get you noticed in a room. This is a really crowd pleasing scent. You know, you walk into a space, if you've got enough of this on, just enough, but not so much that you're choking folks out, it will be intriguing in the air with a beautiful sillage, and people will be interested in knowing what you're wearing. The next one has evolved over time for me as it has deepened up on my shelf. I got it for my birthday this year as a present to myself, FEVE Gourmande from Guerlain, replacing Gourmand Cocan. I smell the chocolate in here more pronounced maybe than ever before. It's a deep, dark chocolate, like a rich, creamy, sugary dark chocolate. Alongside booziness, there's a rum note in the fragrance, a little touch of spice. Like if I didn't know to smell for the spice, I would not know that it was in there. I would just think it smelled beautiful. And then there's a soft patchouli, like a creamy, soft patchouli base. The primary players here are that dark chocolate. It doesn't smell in the gourmand direction. It's not edible. It's like an artistic, dark, sweet, almost like impressionist painting of chocolate inside of a fragrance, which I think is beautiful. Chocolatey, boozy, patchouli. Again, even though I don't see vanilla listed as a note, if I didn't know anything, I would tell you this had a vanillic base and perhaps a touch of woodiness as well. And I think it's fabulous. Another fragrance that is fairly long lasting, although it gets closer to the skin as the day goes on, I would say about the 4 hour mark or so. It's more of like a skin scent or a bubble around you, but very pretty, very mature, very Hollywood glam to me. This has that kind of level of sophistication to it. A fragrance that you might wear when you're fully decked out, dressed to the nines in your finest dress, your favorite jewelry on, and your high heels, and you're ready for a night out on the town, and you want to stun in a fragrance. FEVE Gourmande. I'll end with one of the most decadent, luxurious fragrances in my collection and in my husband's. It's sitting on his shelf. I bought it for him for his birthday, but rest assured that this gets worn by me as well. This is from Christian Provenzano's line, and it is Santal Indian. I'm looking at the notes, but I'm going to ignore those for now and just tell you that this is by far the best sandalwood fragrance I think I have ever smelled in my life. And I have smelled a lot of sandalwood fragrances. It's maybe rivaled by Murmure that I talked about earlier in the video. Although in terms of like a pure sandalwood smell, there's a lot of notes in this fragrance, but it is primarily a creamy, luxurious sandalwood scent. I can't even really tell you what other notes stand out because that is what this is to me. Creamy, beautiful, like a humid, wet sandalwood creamy smell that I just adore. When my husband wears this, I follow him around the house. Like the scent trail on this is super duper sexy. I know that I smell good in it as well. This is like the most put together, well structured sandalwood fragrance ever. Maybe ever. Let me know if you've smelled something better than this. I'd be curious to know what you think. The bottle is luxurious as well, and I just adore it. Super pricey fragrance. I got this off of Scent Split, and I used my own code Veronica10 to get a discount on it, and it's worth every dang penny. Every dang penny. It's got me so interested to smell all the others from the Christian Provenzano line. In fact, if you have recommendations, do let me know. I think I've only sniffed Crystal Musk from his line, and I liked that one. Not enough at the time to consider a bottle, but I would definitely try that fragrance again. I'm interested in sniffing Mangostino and Umbra d'Or. Anyway, this one here is divine. Divine sandalwood, creamy, dreamy, luxurious. Like this fragrance makes you feel like you have arrived in life. If a fragrance can do that. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know what you think of this list. And please, before you go, do drop in the comments what you consider to be the most luxurious fragrance in your collection where you sniff it and it just smells like money just fell from the sky. And it's worth every penny. That is important. Opulent, rich, full body, decadent, rich smelling. Let us know. All right, take it easy. See you in the next video.